Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Annie150, and this is Module 7, Sci-Fi Hallway Set Dressing, Lighting, and Rendering. Okay, you've worked really hard. We've got a 4-part series going on here, and believe it or not, we're at part 4, where we take all of our modular assets and we build them together kind of like Legos, and put them together and create a hallway scene similar to what you see here. Okay, we've got two different kinds of lighting that I'm going to show you how to create. So make sure you give yourself enough time for this module. This may take longer depending on your skill level, understanding lights, colors, and that's what this whole module is about, is taking everything that you've created and making a hallway scene. Okay, so basically that was the overview. Okay, but I'll go ahead and read it to you exactly. So Module 7, Part 4. In this module you continue using your scene from Module 6. That was when you were UV mapping and texturing, so you got all that stuff done, saved your results, exported everything out, and took your screenshots in Substance Painter. So with this, you're going to bring it back into Maya, just the textures. And so what you have, you got your low poly, and we don't want to use the triangulated ones unless you feel like you have to. But you're going to use the low poly, the ones that you had UV mapped, UDIM tiles, and you're going to apply a AI standard surface material to them. Okay, and then you're going to apply those textures that you created in Substance Painter to the AI standard material, following the same exact workflow we did with the Sci-Fi Crate. So if you need to watch those videos on how to import the textures onto the models, the modular pieces, now you should be able to select one of the modular pieces and add the texture, the diffuse texture. Okay, and I would add the very first one. Okay, so when you go in there, you click on your modular asset, and you want to do the UDIM tile 1 first. So that means that basically you just going to select the modular piece that was used, that has the UVs laid out from UDIM tile 1. And when you import it, you're going to go and follow the workflow in the videos. If you have questions or concerns, you just let me know. There's a couple spots that you have to keep, you got to remember. Let's just do one really quick one here, just kind of give you an idea. So the workflow basically is you select your object, you go to assign new material, and you click on Arnold shader, and you'll go into AI standard surface. Okay, and you'll rename that, and this could be called modular assets. Okay, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. The beauty of UDIM tiles is you don't have to load them up. You should not have to load them up separately. Okay, so you're going to go in here to color, not weight. All right, that's a common mistake. You don't want to go into weight. You want to go to color, the base color, and you want to go into 2D textures, file, turn that filter type off, and you have to find your texture. Okay, alright, so once you find your texture, then what you're going to do is you're going to look for the UDIM tile 001 or whatever it is, 0001, whatever, how it's done. You'll find that diffuse. You want to put your diffuse map in here. Okay, that's going to be your first one. And then you go to UV tiling mode from off to UDIM Mari. Make sure you do that. Okay, And what quality do you want? Make sure you put in the quality that you did. Did you do 2K? Did you do 4K? So make sure you set that up. I usually do mine at 4096. That's what 4K means. And 2048 is 2K. Okay, so if it depends on what you did, so make sure you make that change. And then you have to click on Generate Preview. Now it's still in Maya, unless they've made changes into the viewport renderer. It's going to be either black, but when you render it, I guarantee you that it will render out nice. I mean, if you put a light system in here, obviously if you render it out now, there's no lights in here, okay? And you have to use, again, Arnold lighting, okay? So you will set up whatever the lighting setup that I had set up for you. But if you want to just kind of see what the textures look like, go ahead and feel free to use the Skydome light and do a preview render if you want to, okay? Alright, that's up to you. Alright, so modular assets, and then you're going to put the color in, you're going to put the metalness goes in this spot right here, your roughness map goes in this spot here, and your normal map goes into the bump mapping in here. Another issue that students have is how do they set this up? Well, you go to bump and you use tangent space normals. Okay, so that's set up, and then you click on the arrow, and then you can go ahead and import the normal map. Again, you got to do this for every single one of them, right? So we're doing just one. So you're just loading up the materials for the UDIM tile 1, right? UDIM tile 0001. And Mari, and you do 4K again, generate. And then the color space for all the rest of them will be, and it should be in here. I don't have it, raw. Yeah, so you have to click on raw, okay, for the normal map. And under color balance, make sure that is unchecked. Okay? Alright, so that's unchecked. Now, for the roughness map, it has to be raw, and this has to be checked. And for the metalness map, that has to be raw, and that has to be unchecked. So the only time you uncheck it is for the RGB, which is diffuse. Okay, the diffuse map will be RGB space. Okay, or sRGB. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, sRGB. So diffuse, sRGB for color space. For metalness, it's raw. For roughness, it's raw. And for normal map, it's raw. And then for alpha's luminance, that's turned off for the diffuse map. That's turned on for the roughness map, that's turned on for the metalness map, and that's turned off for the normal map. And you should be good to go. Now, if you don't see anything going on here, you may have to go to Renderer, Viewport 2, and go in here and set it up. So, regenerate all UV tile preview textures. So you just click on that, and it should regenerate all your textures again. Okay, so that will help with your UDIM tiles. It doesn't say UDIM tile in here, but that's what it is. Generate all UV tile preview textures. Now, I've had students tell me that it just keeps black. That's normal. They have not got that bug figured out. But if you go in here and you save your file and you close Maya, you reopen Maya and open your file again, sometimes it goes, and if you go into, and what you want to do is you want to go right back into here when you reopen the file up, is going back in here and regenerate all UV tile preview textures. Give it a moment to do that because there's going to be a lot of really heavy textures on there. It may take 5-10 minutes on your computer, I don't know. And then you should be able to see it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a hit and miss. So don't worry if it's black, okay? And sometimes when I'm rendering, I just hit instead of the 6 key. Make sure you hit the 6 key, by the way. That shows textures. A lot of students forget that. The 6 key on your keyboard is textures. The 5 key is smooth shade. It doesn't show. So when you bring your models in, you have to hit the 6 key to see your textures come in, okay? And it still may be black, okay? Even if after you do all this stuff, okay? So don't worry. When you do start lighting and rendering, you can do a test render by just clicking on this dome light and go into the render settings. Make sure Arnold Render is selected, okay? And you should be able to do a quick render of it, okay, by just clicking on this guy right here, okay? Render the current frame. Alright, so that's just a real quick update. If you want more in depth, then watch my videos, okay? Alright, so you're going to create 2 types of lighting. One is going to be standard lighting and one's going to be mood lighting. And you're going to create 2 right, and we'll talk about this later, 2 right perspective images. Objectives you guys can read, Module 7 course assignments. Go ahead and read that together, and you can see my instructor example. The student will continue using their scene for Module 6, of course. Student will create an AI standard surface material. You'll apply textures, and you're going to set dress your scene. You're going to learn to create 2 types of lighting, mood lighting, using different colors. And you'll present your work in a professional manner. And you're going to set dress this. What would be really cool is to see you guys, and I didn't do this in mine, I wish I would have. I should go back and do that. Is add your, and this is not required, but add your, after you get all this done, after you get everything finished, and you're right before you render, or you can go ahead and render your 2 renders, okay, get it all done. But go back and put your sci-fi crate in there, which would be kind of fun. You know, maybe in the front here that we can see it. So that would be really cool. Scale it down to size, of course. You know, if it's a 4x2, you're not going to have it filling the whole entire thing. Just, you know, try to scale it to size. So if this would be 36 inches tall right here, then you guys can get a kind of an estimate of what your size would be in here. Okay. Alright, so that would be cool to see. And of course I'm going to show you basically how to light the scene in 2 different ways, which is really fun because we'll have a regular standard with the mood lighting. Basically this is emergency lighting on all the time in case the power goes out, and then just the emergency lights come on, which are kind of a reddish, and this kind of gives it a very eerie mood. Danger kind of feeling that, you know, wow, kind of gives you goosebumps when you look at it. Or if you're playing a game, this is kind of like danger, kind of warns you to be careful, be cautious. So lesson content is going to be color psychology, the ultimate guide. This is really important that you guys read through this to get a better understanding how colors, how they affect us psychologically, and it goes through graphic arts, animation, movies, games. So there's some really good, I want you to watch these videos. They're very informational, highly recommended. Even though I'm not going to have a quiz over this, I usually do have a quiz over this, but I really want you guys to really focus on your assignment. But these are very informational. So if you haven't watched the Joker, the cinematographer goes in and discusses how he would light the scenes. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't watched it, really good. And then use of colors in game design and level design, which affects you, and this is what our class is about. It's creating modular systems for games. Alright, so the course assignment, I've kind of already gone through that. Here's my examples of standard lighting with all the set dressing done and the mood lighting. I wouldn't say that the setting the set dressing was hard. It was just time consuming to get everything to match up and aligned up properly. Okay. So the assignment workflow: import textures into Maya and apply them to the necessary channels. I kind of took you through that in the example earlier, showing you how to apply that stuff onto a cube. Set dressing your sci-fi modular hallway scene, setting up your camera, lighting your scene, rendering your scene. And I take you through the whole entire thing. Just don't forget to save your scene file as you progress. Okay, this tutorial takes you through how to apply textures to your assets, so you can see me do that there. And then set dressing is a lot of fun. I would highly recommend that you apply all your textures first and do a quick render like I talked about, using the Sky Dome, the Arnold Sky Dome, so you can to make sure that your textures are on there properly before you start set dressing. And then when you're set dressing, I would highly recommend that you turn off the textures, which is just the 5 key. So textures on is the 6 key, textures off is the 5 key, and what that does, it allows you to dress your scene properly. Okay, it just makes it a little easier. Okay, then I show you how to set up your camera and all your lighting, get everything rendered, and of course your congratulations guy. Grading rubric. How am I going to grade you? Well, you have to have your entire scene textured. I've had students, a couple students that did very poorly, that ran the clock out, and they gave themselves 2 hours on Sunday night and to set dress this, light it, and that's not enough time. That's not going to work. And they turned in a rendered scene of it, not textured, and they basically got 5 points for that because of this. Okay, you have to get full credit. To get full credit, you have to have lighting and rendering, but you have to have everything textured. Okay, to get any credit, this thing's all about getting your textures on. Your lighting and your rendering are just 2 small little things. Okay, so make sure you understand that. Okay, do not wait till the last minute to start working on this thing, and waiting till Sunday night to get a hold of me telling me things aren't working is a bad idea, because I check my emails on Saturday and Sunday at 9 in the morning, and I spend the rest of the day with my family. And then Sunday, same thing. Check them at 9, and then 9 at night. Okay, so the weekends it's a very poor choice to contact me at the very last minute telling me things aren't working, and my response is going to be, of course I'm going to help you the best I can, but with the amount of time that we have, can we get this done? And the thing is, you cannot turn this in late. Okay, because of next week's final exams that start on Monday, I have to have all the grading done by Monday. Okay, and then Wednesday we have to be finished, and I've got to get all your grades in. Okay, so you cannot turn in Module 7 late. You'll get a 0 if you do, and you cannot turn in final exams late. You'll get a 0. Okay, so hopefully you're watching this and you understand that. You give yourself plenty of time. Now's the time not to be procrastinating and starting these modules late. Okay, so please keep on it. Turn instructions are basically this. I just need the MB file, FBX file, no BJ file of your low poly sci-fi set dressed, completely textured. The textures don't have to show. Okay, they're going to need to show in your perspective renders. That's if you don't turn in your perspective renders, you're probably going to get a 0. Okay, so make sure that you get those renders. Are really important that you get them in. Okay, all right. Now, if you run into some crazy, unforeseen things that happen, and you just physically can't render something, you're going to have to get a hold of me immediately to tell me what's going on, so we can make other arrangements, okay, for you. Alright? Alright, so make sure that you understand this, and we got to create a scenes folder, a source images folder, a screenshots folder, and a renders folder. Okay. Now I do need a screenshot that shows that you've actually done it. Worst case scenario, you turn in something, at least you get 5 or 10 points without the texturing. Okay, that's probably what you're going to get. That you showed me that you set dressed. Alright. The rest of the points come in from a beautiful render, your set dressing, your textures have been applied properly. That's going to be worth, I would say 30 points. The most you're going to get out of this is 10 points. Okay. Alright. So just be aware of that. Okay. Alright, so good luck with everything. It's been a real pleasure to work with you guys, really this semester has gone really well, and hope you enjoyed all the modules and how I set them up. Please let me know how you like this when you're finished with everything. Please send me an email. Just let me know what I need to change, if you would like something different, or if you enjoyed the class. Please let me know how it went for you guys. Any concerns or anything like that you may have, please let me know. I appreciate it. It just helps me become a better instructor, and to change things that I feel would make this better. So if you have any suggestions, you just let me know, and I appreciate that. Anyway, it's been a great time, and I look forward to seeing you guys for final exam again. These cannot be turned in late. I hate to say that, but it just says we're kind of on a time crunch. So no late. You basically get a 0 if you're late with Module 7, and a 0 if you're late with final exam. So please stay on top of that stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I've lost sleep during my last projects at school myself. So that's just what we have to do to get things done. So I look forward to seeing you in class someday, and I will see you in final exam. Have a great week.